Hi, I'm Charlotte Greene. I first started my thematic unit by creating a cluster so that I would have a good planning on what I wanted to do on my thematic unit on flight. We began with the advancement of flight. The objective was to teach the progression of humankind through transportation of flight and how this progress has affected so many areas of life: social work, science, advancement, math. We will complete charts, graphs, timelines, Venn diagrams, oral reports. I'll collect textbooks and poems on the patterns of flight and magazines, newspaper articles. We'll read some to the class, and then I'll have some distributed around for the children to read at their leisure whenever they have reading time. One of the ones I'll read to the class myself is My Brother's Flying Machine, Finding a Hot Air Balloon, and Eagles and Lions in the Sky. Next, I will set up a listening center. I will obtain recordings of as many books as I can from libraries and other teachers so the students can listen to the books to catch up if they are absent, but also during their extra reading time or silent reading time. That way they can reread with the recording within the thematic unit, so the students will receive additional reading experiences. Then I will coordinate content area textbook readings so we can cover material in the textbook that the students may need for the standard test or text. This will provide depth and understanding of a particular topic through reading, writing, and the grand conversations that we'll have over it. The students will take notes, write questions, make observations, clarify their thinking, and create clusters. We will write reactions to what we're learning during the thematic unit. I'll have students keep learning logs with notes, drawings, maps, diagrams. Give the students an opportunity in small groups to brainstorm with ideas and preparing projects about flight and biographies, maybe with an aviator. Next, we'll present information by giving oral reports, creating charts and diagrams, displaying information. We may even have role playing for the historical science. A person like Wilbur Wright, Amelia Earhart, anyone who's Icarus, someone who may be important to the history of flight. We'll draw diagrams of birds' wings and airplane wings and see the differences. We'll make a Venn diagram. I'll show you, here's some of the work that we have. And then we'll have the Venn diagram on flight with airplane and birds, and what's the same and what's different. We'll read books on Amelia Earhart and the Wright brothers, and the books on the beginning, the hot air balloon and Icarus from the very beginning of time. We'll have information about animals that fly, including birds, bats, insects, and fish. Give oral reports about the airplane, birds, aviators. The assessment design, we'll have a checklist that students complete to document their learning during the thematic unit, how the students are working in groups, individually to complete projects, how are the students doing in the mini lessons, how their diagrams, charts, written tests, tasks look, how they did and how they sound and hold themselves during the oral presentation. Did they speak clearly, understand the theme they were writing about? How did they do overall on the concept of flight? Who invented it? The dangers in the very beginning of it? How far we've come with airplanes' comfort and safety today? How far we can fly now compared to how we could fly in the very beginning. And then my next portion of my thematic unit is on the interactive math calendar. On the first station, I will have the students come up and we will do a calendar to put the days on the date of the calendar, and I will ask the students together what day it is, wait for them to answer. Then the students should be able to identify the day of the week and the day of the month. For example, the student would be able to say Wednesday, October the 20th, 2010. This station should take about 5 minutes. Then on the second station, we'll have a weather chart. I will ask the students what they think the weather is for the day. We can personally view it by looking out the window or look in the internet or the TV weather station, depending upon how much time we have. Then I will call the student up to put the symbol, whether it's sunny, rainy, snowy, onto our chart. And here's some of our weather symbols that we'll have. Then as a group, I will ask the students to count how many sunny days and rainy days. We'll keep a chart of it until the end of the month, and we'll keep a running total of it, and we'll count them as part of our counting practice. We'll find out how many days are sunny, how many days are rainy, that sort of thing for our chart. I will document the amount of days in a weather pattern, so we can graph it. It'll take about 5 minutes each day. In the third station, we will have 4 containers labeled ones, tens, hundreds, and thousands. We add a straw daily to keep up with how many days we are in school so far this year. Each day I will call a student up to add a straw to document that day. The student will be expected to take a straw and place it in its proper place. The student should place the added straw into the ones container. Then the student should count the amount of straws with the rest of the class out loud to see if there are 10 straws in the ones container. When a total of 10 straws are placed in the ones container, they are bound together with a rubber band and moved over to the tens container, and so on with the hundreds container. This station will take about 5 minutes. In the fourth station, a student will be chosen to come up and write a number on the board in a designated spot as to how many days we have been in school so far this year. Each school day, the number will increase by 1. We can add this number to a count and use a 5 tally chart so that we can, and here's our 5 tally chart, we can use that to tally every day when we're counting by 5s. Then we can play a number game with a total. I will ask the students if the day's number is odd or even. Then I will ask the students how they can find out. We can use examples such as we can count by 2s because adding by 2s is always even. And if it ends in the added 2s, it will be an even number, and if not, then it's odd. Today we added a straw. For example, today we added a straw to make 23 total straws. There are 3 single straws in the ones container, so there is not enough to bundle yet. So we would need 7 more days, and the students should know that, and this station would take about 5 minutes. Then on the 5th station, we will have the 100 number board, and here's a picture of it. There are many different ways to go over the 100 number boards. We can count each number individually. We can count the 2s. We can count by 5s. We can count by 10s. Or each day we can spend at least 10 minutes going over various ways to count on the 100 number boards to see if the students are understanding the expectations of working with the numbers and their various sequences. In the 6th station, we will use a 10 frame. Each day I will call a different student up to place a black colored dot on the 10 frame. Here's a picture of it. Until we fill it up by putting a total of 10 dots into the frame. Then we will move that total over to our data daily counting sheet. And we begin a new 10 frame. Each day after a student adds a dot, we can have the whole class count all the dots to see how many there are. If there are less than 10 dots, I can ask the students how many dots we still need to equal 10. This station will take about 5 minutes. Then we will go over to the 7th station using coins to count. The coins will get students used to seeing how coins are used for counting as well, and that they are added and subtracted like numbers. Every day I will call a student up to add a penny to the money jar representing that day. For example, for day 23, there should be 2 dimes and 3 pennies because we are counting in cents. 2 dimes and 3 pennies should be counted as 23 cents. And here's our coin chart. This station should take about 5 minutes. Next, we have station number 8, and this is working with the thermometer. I will call on a student and ask them what temperature the thermometer says in the room for today. After the student tells the class what temperature the thermometer says, I will ask the class if they all agree. If all the students agree, we will go on. If not, we will discuss it some more. This takes about 5 minutes for this station. Station 9 will cover volume. I will have three see-through plastic containers of the same size and shape to demonstrate volume. We will place cotton balls in one, seeds in another, and the third one we will place eraser tops. Each day I will call a student up to add one item to each of the 3 containers. This will validate that the containers all have the same amount of items, yet each set of items take up a different amount of space. I can ask, which container has more? The cotton balls, the erasers, or the seeds? The answer should clearly be they are exactly the same in number, but they have different volume because each item takes up a different amount of space. This station should take about 3 minutes. Station 10 should cover time. I will ask the students if they know what time it is. I will choose someone to tell the whole class the time. If they have said the correct time, I will validate it by saying yes and agreeing with them. The station should take about 2 minutes. And here's our clock for that portion of the station. Station 11, we will use various measuring devices to measure something in the room. I will ask the students on one day to count the distance across the room by using only their feet, by walking 1 foot directly in front of the other. This would be the room is X amount of the student's feet in length or width. If we measure a desk using a paper clip, we can say the desk is X paper clips long. If we use a piece of regular paper to measure, we can say this area is X sheets of paper. The culminating activities are the students would share and display the completed activities and projects. The evaluation will be made on the activities being completed, and as presentations are being made if the students are capable of answering the questions correctly, coming to the board to demonstrate their knowledge of a particular area, speaking and working with the groups as a whole to answer, pay attention, listening as we are all going over the different areas and different stations. My third portion of the thematic unit is on science, and it's birds of a feather. And I will know if the students have mastered the objectives by completing the task of classifying, drawing, and distinguishing the difference between the feathers by using a magnifying glass, drawing and labeling them on artist paper. These are hands-on accomplishments. The students will view how feathers contribute to the ability of a bird to fly. Materials we will use in this lesson are the main 6 types of bird feathers: magnifying glass, artist paper, pencil, eraser, and a stapler. As a whole class, I will read through and discuss the 6 different types of feathers and their usage. I will demonstrate what is expected, posting drawings with labels of type and function of feather. This lesson will take an hour to complete. I will read books on birds and have books available for the students before the start of the lesson. The key terms are contour, rosses, shaft, hollow, pulp, veins, barb, barbules, hooks, semi-plume, down, quill, pillow plume, bristles, and powder down. There are many things about birds that make them good subjects for study. They are very abundant, so they are easily observed. They adapt easily to captivity and experimentation. Some birds have beautiful colors, characteristic songs, and unique habits make each species identifiable. Birds have a special place in the ecological world. They play a vital role in the balance of nature, eating insects, agricultural pests, and other small animals, while they in turn are eaten by larger animals. Fruit-eating birds do not digest seeds. They are the primary seed distributors for many plants. Hummingbirds help pollinate nectar, producing flowers. Birds that are capable of digesting seeds eliminate millions of weeds from the earth. For man, birds have other values as well. They are a source of protein for both eggs and meat, and the feathers are used for pillows and quilts and clothing.